All right, weekend warriors, what's up, you fucking scoundrels? Welcome back. Corked Stats, fastest freaking show in MLB, absolutely anywhere. With your homeboy and your friend, John Legaza. Follow me up on Twitter. Same handle over on Substack. Free looks and everything. Nice yesterday, a little hot to trot, felt good, right? Talking about that process, staying the course, stay focused, Daniel son. 6 out of 7 on the straights. Loving that. Feeling really good. Of course, Paulie Skeens, probably the play I felt the most confident in, was the loser. That's how it goes. Man, almost had a true monster, but the hit and run ribby stuff didn't come through. If you were tailing that, gosh, textbook definition of fucking frustration. 2 pairs, 4 guys, great odds. 2 early cashes, of course, on each side. 2 hits from the other guys, right? So all 4 had hits, 2 were easy clears, and the other 2 both made the last out in the game. You know, when especially Calcs had the triple, and you're like, oh man, we could just get a fucking seeing eye single out of Lane Thomas. We're going to get this one home. Same for Brian Reynolds. They were both striking out like crazy. That shit happens, but I'll take the 6 or 7 any damn day. Welcome to all the new listeners making that hard charge towards 1,000 subscribers. Press the cartoon finger because it matters more than it should. Support good people doing good work. Don't be a cheap motherfucker your whole life. We are going to save you $2 worth of time a week. Man, that's like if you don't really value your time. Enough of that shit. Come on, let's do the thing we do. Me and you, Corked Stats crew. Best part of waking up. Pitching sheets in the mug. Games, we have a full slate. We're split 6 and 9. Let's do the 9 at the back end. Am I not good at math? 3, 6, 9. Why do I have fucking 10? Hold on just one second. I knew I was going to confuse myself. I thought we started KC. Okay, no, that's a mistake. No worries. So we're going to start with Arizona and Tampa. It is 6 and 9. I had 10. I knew something was funky. All right. It's the Snakes with shapes on their back. Plus 127 underdogs on the road to place the fat fucking fish from Florida. And Ty Johnson making his debut. Now, I do my best to get up whatever AAA stats, work in our sheet. I have to do it manually, whatever. I don't care. But I'm not sure if it always tells the fucking tale. So Johnson, like I mentioned, making the debut, 24. Not really a highly touted prospect at all, but some really awesome stats coming up. Again, he doesn't have a lot of experience, just in the pros for a couple years, and he only has 39 innings in AAA. But that said, really elevated K rates with really great walk rates, all the CSWs in the north 30s, all the home run rates below 1/2 until he hit AAA. Then everything kind of normalized a little bit. Not bad, but it did normalize a little bit. And man, you want to back these guys because he could be great. Arizona's been ass, but it's always tough for me to back guys in a debut. And in particular, there's one other thing I noticed in the game log. And there's no science here. We're just doing our best. And weirdly enough, one, he's not on regular rest, so I don't love that. He pitched last 9 days ago and gave up 6 runs in AAA. Game before that gave up 3, 1 and 3, going back 4. So, his last 4 games, he's given up 13 earned runs in 22 innings. 1 was unearned. So, right, you can see where this goes wrong. You can see how people are going to be pitching the case either way. Oh, huge K rate, great command control. Arizona's ass. They're still professional hitters. It's still fucking Corbin Carroll and Ketel Marte and Perdomo and shit. So, I don't know, man. These debuts are always a little bit funky monkey. You know what I'm saying? And then they've got Cabrera, who made his debut, and he was excellent. I was under the hood just to see what it looked like under there. I don't know. He doesn't throw a 4-seamer, which I guess is okay. He throws a 90-mile-an-hour cutter as the lead with sweeper curve behind it. The thing is, though, that doesn't have the disparity I like to see in speed, but he's got good expansion. He's got really great spin, and he gets a lot of whiffs. So there's just a lot of question marks here. This is the one. There's an easy case here for there's going to be 15 runs scored. Both these guys are really young, and it's just easy to see that. And then they're both really good against offenses that are on the fucking struggle bus a little bit. And maybe this one ends fucking 2-1. I don't trust the bullpens. I don't have confidence in the starters to go distance either. You know what I mean? The offenses, like I mentioned, kind of unimpressive lately. Both of these teams, like, oh, good discipline. They don't fucking swing. And when they do, they don't do shit with it. Rays have been a little bit better. Caminero had the monster game kind of carrying some of this. But it's been pretty ugly. Same for the bullpens, right? So hard to look for. It's really hard to look for anything. The Rays have been better. Though I have more confidence in Cabrera having made the first start already. I got the Algo up, and I don't know, it's really like right on the nose. If anything, it kind of likes Arizona. F5 is a dog. I didn't realize how heavy of a favorite that is. I usually lead with the price. It kind of escaped me a little bit. So if we can get Arizona like that nice money, yeah, it's plus 130. So I might like both those. I might like Arizona F5 with Cabrera, just looking to do something against Johnson. And then I think I still might also like the under, but I'm a little worried about all that middle section of the game when the hooks start to happen. So I'm liking these plus money bets. Right, that's how you kind of do it. Plus 130 for the Snakes. I mean, the offense has been really hard to back, but I don't know. I hate to be like, who cares? But it's like the stats only going to take you so far. We all know that. You got to trade rectangular patterns and look for bounces and, sinks or whatever the fucking right word is. Next up, Winged Lion forced a Griffin on the bump for the Nationals. They're on the road against Brandon Forever Young and the Baltimore Orioles, minus 123 at the crib there. I kind of like both of these guys, but I also like both offenses. We were saying this yesterday, kind of on the fence. It's funny because my lead was, and I remember, I want to be under this game, but I'm worried about regression. Griffin, yesterday it was Alvarez, who we like, but I think might have been due regression. And then Rogers, who was so bad for so long, after being so good for so long last year. Now he's kind of corrected course. And we were talking about that yesterday, right? That fork in the road, not to be this guy's ass and this guy's not. Things are constantly changing, right? These guys want to succeed. They're fucking around with arsenals. They're moving around on the fucking mound and shit like that, changing up arsenals, whatever. All right, let's dive on it. Foster Griffin, basically, let's call it even money. Minus 123, like I said, for the Orioles. Griffin's easily having the better season, right? The far better whip and far better disciplinary stuff, where Young has really failed, with the strikeouts, getting the cold stuff over. But he is getting ahead. He can induce chases. They've both kept it down. Griffin's misses have really gotten punished, but I don't think I want to put the cart before the horse. It's still a good fly ball rate and a good hard hit rate. I know there's a lot of barrels, but he shouldn't have a 17 homer fly ball rate. I think that's going to positively regress here. Young has been really tough on lefties, and that's a good sign against Washington, of course. Young's also been fantastic at home, and Griffin's been very good on the road. And the last 30 stuff is pretty good, though I think Young's is a little bit weaker than maybe some of the narratives are, right? There's this like Brandon Young breakout narrative going on. I don't know if I'm quite there, but he does look good, and it's a guy I was into. Again, I mentioned I take my L's, L for love, where they're due. I got whipsawed on Young because I liked him coming up. He was awful. Then I liked him on the rebound this year. He was awful. The second I fucking hit the brake and went to fucking pivot, he fucking took off. So sometimes that's why you like the underpinning stuff, that it at least gives you an objective basis. I should have stuck with it, but I just kind of threw in the towel at exactly the wrong time, which is exactly what always happens with betting and trading, if anybody knows anything about this stuff. So it comes down to the offenses, right? Washington offense is certainly in a lull. We do like the Nats. They're still really good. They can score a lot of runs. But we're seeing them get kind of punished, right, for the chases and not taking those walks. Wood, as much as I love him, he was a huge fantasy piece for us this year. James Wood is goated. He's a very flawed kind of leadoff guy, right? Because he can reach and strike out, which can limit on base is what you want, even for the speed. Hard to use your speed when you're not on base. And I just think we're seeing Washington hit a little bit of the lull. Listen, there's still some power there, right? If you're going to get barrels, end line drives with good contact, you're seeing the slug manifest in extra base hits. But this is certainly like downswinging. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get to a new one in a second also. I want to hat tip fucking Toasty Sam, my guy. And this is a lesson for anybody. Don't be fucking shy. You're not a burden. You're a priority. Generally, the people that follow this show are entirely too nice. And Sam asked super politely if we could add home and away stuff. And you know what? I normally ignore it because the samples are small, but we've mentioned the worries about weather and certain parks playing up, which only lends itself to having that data. So I'm going to meet everyone in the middle. And we're not going to time split it, but I am now putting up year-to-date home and road splits. Those are live right now. I'm going to show them in a second. Let's look at the Baltimore lefty stuff really quick. And it's a mixed bag. It's not great, right? Baltimore, certainly their weaker split is that now it's a lot of Ks and swing and miss, and that's not really Griffin's game. But they do put the ball on the ground with a lot of weak contact, and that is his game. So you can see where you might want to be on an under. Again, so if you want the home and away, you've got to go to the year-to-date tab, and it's the right most, so it's after, it's the last split. I'm going to update it every day. The same like everything else. No fucking days off, all gas, no breaks. You know how we roll around here. So it's all the way at the end. Just, simple enough, right? Simple. Washington's been excellent. Really both ways, I guess. I'm going to try and shrink these down so I can get them both in the same thing. Hold on, let's do, right, Washington, fantastic on the road. Tons of steals, tons of ISO, not really a fucking weakness traveling. Baltimore's been very good at home. Now, maybe they don't run as much as we'd like, but they do everything else. So we do have kind of strong splits. And the bullpens are both kind of terrible, though Baltimore, I guess, pitching a little bit better than I'm giving them credit for. Getting Helsley back in the fucking chair. It is almost impossible for me to recommend a Washington under the way this bullpen is pitching, but that's really what I like. So if the first five is really a U5, I think that's the move. And, hold on, I'm actually seeing 4.5, but it's even money. So I can't do the shop around. I'm gonna put 5 minus 122, a little back of the math. Back of the napkin calculation. But I will correct it before I post anything. You know how I roll. I don't post fucking fakeness. But we want that half a run. And also, what I was thinking about yesterday, because we hit a pair of unders yesterday, a pair of U9s. Now, one was a really good cap, and one we were very fucking lucky. However, right? But. Goes to show you how much it takes to get up and over 9, right? Because we had hard 9s. We were even good at 9. 10 would have been the loss. And it was, Detroit and Houston? Did they go banana? Was that one go kind of crazy yesterday? Yeah, Detroit had the big blow-up inning. Or 2, actually. 3 in the third, 5 in the fourth. And it stayed there. Houston couldn't get on the board, so that one was pretty lucky. But what I was going to say is, right, there's that saying, life is too short to bet the under. Has that person ever bet a fucking under before? What the fuck, yo? You are pacing, right? You are pacing your fucking balls off. And then, this was not a total. It was a money line, I guess. But still, Texas was up 5-zip. If you were on that under, you were feeling pretty good. They coughed up 4 in the 8th. All of a sudden, right, that total got busted. And the money line, you're pacing. But, if you were on that under, yeah, you're pacing your balls off in the 8th. Man on. All you're thinking is the losing run for us, right? The run that puts us, in the red is at the plate. I don't know what those fucking people are talking about. Though, the 5 makes you feel pretty good. That's where I'm at. Next up, Mikey Lorenzen on the bump for the Rocks on the road against the Twinks and Mikey Paredes. Wind blowing in Minnesota. Not sure what's going to matter. I mean, there's a very, very rough pitching matchup going on. Lorenzen has been fucking brutal. The last 30 is a little bit better than the outputs have been, but man, this guy's on the fucking struggle bus. He doesn't have out pitches to either handed hitters, and that's just going to get you in a lot of trouble. Minnesota's been very good with the sticks lately. Same with Paredes, walking almost as many hitters as he's striking out, not getting the cold stuff over, not inducing chases. This is the wrong team to be pitching to fucking contact to, right? Two of the better teams right now, if I'm not mistaken, on offense. They're both kind of doing the damn thing. Rockies now, I kind of wanted to punish them. Kyle was talking about this. We used to want to jump on them after they leave Colorado, and maybe some of that was just the hitter sucked. You know what I mean? So maybe the baseline Colorado hitter was just so bad that the boost in Colorado made them palatable, and then after that, you got what you would have gotten, which is shit. And now that the Rockies are good, they're good everywhere. And being at home makes them great. So maybe that's what's going on here. And eventually, I got to stop doing this with offenses. Teams that I like start to produce. So I'm the first one on a ship, and then I'm the first one out. I'm like a fucking bitch, right? What kind of pussy shit is that? You're correct, and then you end up fucking wrong. You know what I mean? I did it with the Orioles. Now I did it with the White Sox, doing it with the fucking Twins.
Erroneous!
Yeah.
Erroneous! Erroneous on both counts.
You got to fucking have that stick-to-itiveness. Twins have been hitting, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, but I don't think they're that good. I'm getting off. Man, strike while the iron is hot. And I think especially while they're giving you reason to. I was a little bit concerned because the Twins have been running such a crazy high BABIP, which I think is fair. But the approach is really good. They chase a little bit more than average, but they make a lot of zone contact and don't strike out and then do everything you could ask for. This happened with the Twins a couple of years ago, but they also just didn't have good enough hitters to employ this strategy. The Twins very much were vocal about trying to elevate pulled bad balls. We all know that's the fucking right answer. You know what I'm saying? Survey says fucking number one answer right there. The bullpens are just atrocious. You can't trust the fucking Twins as far as you could throw them. Rockies not far behind. So again, this one over or nothing. It's listed at 9. I hate to go over the 9. But if any team's going to do it, I feel like it's this one. Already we're at 9.5 even money. So right, those 9s are already kind of getting taxed. Oh, this made me realize, worth looking. Somebody was smart enough to actually bet the fucking thing. I tweeted it. I wasn't smart enough to bet it. He's into these daily specials. And I was mentioning Kansas City White Sox as, a game that could run and is worth looking at for highest scoring game. Which is also weird because, right, it was the one of 2 games, I think, that had 9. So it wasn't like a huge shock. But it ended up being like the 4th or 5th game on the board at like 11-1. And somebody paid for almost a full year sub on fucking 5. So this has that chance also. I can't bring it up in Shop DK. It's going to lock me up. My kids are home for the summer now, and my fucking internet is stretched beyond thin. I called them. I'm like, bro, what the fuck? I paid for the sickest 5G. They're like, you have 9 devices running at all times. Like, you're using up a fucking city block's worth of fucking internet. I'm like, whatever. So, yeah, over or nothing in Minnesota. You're a fucking crazy person if you're betting any of it. And I don't even think this is the underdog spot where the Rockies could easily win, but you're only getting plus 119. Who wants to do that to get into a shootout? If this was, you're getting your plus 155, which you get in the Rocks all the time. Nah. Different story. Next up, Baby Bears' newest bear, David Peterson, plus 140 dog down in Cheesetown, Beer Town, to face my boy, Kyle Harrison, and the Brewers. They're minus 168. Yeah, sometimes I think the favorite is a heavy favorite for a reason. David Peterson, who I don't dislike totally, I think the Mets should have held on to him. He's really fucking struggled this year. Just everything has been worse than it's always been, and it was never that great to begin with. But now we're at, a 10 KBB with a 90 zone contact. And even though he's kept the ball down, I think this is the wrong team to do that to. Flipping to the Cubs, V lefties last 30. It's been murder. You know what I'm saying? And they've been very patient. We've actually criticized the Cubs for their passivity at times, right? Discipline is good. I'm the first person to hammer home how important discipline is. But not swinging is not great when you don't capitalize. So a big part of not striking out is supposed to be identifying good pitches to swing at. Funny, of course, Eno Saris, who's incredibly smart, my compadre from the Athletic, just tweeted about that. You could check it out. You should check it out. Everybody should be following Eno. You're going to learn shit. But he was talking about just this. I think it was a response to what's his name, Joey Votto. I think it might have been, or it was some former player talking about how improving his chase rate actually negatively impacted him. But I think that's garbage in, garbage out a little bit, because, and this is what Eno's point was, what I'm explaining right now, that it's not just not chasing, right? You can't just not chase. You have to not chase and pick good pitches, right? Because being overly passive hurts you, but the Cubs are not doing that. So when you get low swing rate plus high discipline and optimal production, that's like the not fucking hand. So the Cubs are just everything, because they're stretching counts and not chases, taking walks, then battling and succeeding up and down the fucking lineup. Cubs right now are, they do this. They hit the highest highs and the lowest lows. But it is Kyle Harrison, and he's been awesome. Milwaukee, who I was meant to speak about and didn't, I just got all blurred by the red on the Cubs, is also pretty good and not quite the same. These were actually a pretty good case in point of the point I was making, even though I derailed myself a little bit. I mean, I still want to give Harrison a nod, but you got to be worried, right? When we don't want to be challenging the teams that are hitting. Scoring is a premium, and I've had to learn this. I like the pitcher. You got to be careful, man. Or the Brewers going to score against Peterson. That I think you're getting, even though, again, it's not a perfect facsimile, right? They're kind of similar, but not quite the same. The discipline is better on the Cubs side, but the elevation is ideal on the Cubs side, right? And it's better power, right? You know what I'm saying? So those kind of things are going to make a huge difference. Brewers have been a little bit of a ground ball machine against lefties. Man, that's sad. Both bullpens have been riding the struggle bus. I'm a little surprised the total is at 8. I actually, just kind of talking through it, I thought it would be 7.5. I guess the market is a little bit worried about Peterson and that inflated ERA. Man, I was kind of getting a hankering for a schmankering to maybe go over, because I don't know if I want to pay minus 170 for the Brewers. I feel like, I don't know. I think they get the Peterson, but now I feel like this is an over. I feel like this is a 5-3 thing. Maybe my cleanest cap is the Milwaukee team total. It's 4.5 plus 110. Maybe that's the thing I like. It's weird because when Harrison was on the bump, you kind of want a piece of that ass. But with the struggles from the Brewers and the way the Cubs are hitting, it's hard to not give the Cubs 2 or 3. And if you need the run line, then you need to get the 4 or 5 anyway. So last thing, the run line cover is plus 125. So my answer is somewhere in there. My answer is like the Brewer run line. We've been having success with those. Or it's the team total. Both of those prices are so similar. I was hoping one would really stick out to make the decision for me. Of course it didn't. Next up, Logan Gilbert on the bump. My boy, minus 150 favorite on the road in Forest City to face Slade Ciccone. My boy, Paisan, plus 124 at home. He's been tough to back, but I think it's home road stuff. Let's take a look. Gilbert is just awesome. He doesn't get the respect he deserves. He's fantastic. He's an ace. He's like a legit MLB ace. He does everything, command, control, gets ahead, wins in zone. Yeah, we'd like some more ground balls, because when he misses or the homer fly ball rate is spiked, he gets punished. That's been the thing. But even at a 1.4 homer fly ball rate, which is above average, if that's the high end of like the, where the luck is taking us, he's going to run the other direction. I think Gilbert's going to be fine. Not to make excuses. Everything is there. And even for all the fly balls, he gets a shit ton of pop-ups. Now, Ciccone, again, I like to pay attention in the fantasy community screaming about somebody, and he was getting a lot of love. Now, it's pulled back a little bit because he struggled to touch. Again, when you're not commanding the zone and you can't get swings and misses, you can't bail yourself out of tough spots, and failures can cascade, I think is a way to put it, and it's been out of control. But also, right, he does have a good hard hit rate. He does have a good ground ball rate. And we know that is going to bail you out 5 innings at a time. That's just what it is. Now, the Gilbert stuff on the road is incredible. Hawk and Animal, eat your fucking heart out. My guy's a road warrior. What a rush. Chaconi's been a little bit better as far as production last 30, but the other pitching stuff's still not great. 434 Sierra, 11 KBB is kind of the guy that we're talking about right now. And as bad as the Mariners' offense has been, I still think I like them over the Guards. Though hard to believe anybody's worse than the Guardians last 2 weeks versus righties. This Mariners shit is actually so bad that I think it has to pop. The elevation is there, but that's been the only thing. Holy crap. Mariners batting 190 as a squad last 270 plate appearances versus righties. Again, not like the Guards are doing much better. The batting average is better, but the BABIP is, 70 points higher or whatever. They're striking out a ton. You got to like Gilbert Case today. He's a good play for like a strikeout ladder. I'm going to cheat and look at L7. Oh, they're both like one is worse than the other. Now, the bullpen, I think you got to give it to Seattle. I don't know what's going on with Cade Smith. He's been a main source of the problems for the Guards. And if Cade Smith is going to suck, they're going to lose a lot of games, right? The Guards are a win-close team. They need this bullpen to be great. And they've just getting barreled up and homered up. I mean, maybe it corrects. I was a fan of the arm talent. You could see the Mariners. Let me step back 1 second. The Mariners, for the runs they've given up, the underpinning stuff is fucking awesome. KBB, elevation, home runs, all that stuff is really in check. Sub 3 Sierra. In that same span, they had a 5.25 ERA. Much easier to believe in that. So I've got Mariners at like they're listed like minus 150. It's coming down to minus 145. Man, these are rough pairs. But you know what we did with man, I can't remember who the fuck it was. But it was playing the minus 145 as a split. And it worked pretty well. Meaning, would you like two teams at minus 145? That's... Again, I know, people often talk about like process. You've got to have a process. You've got to have a process. Then that actually shows you the fucking process. Right? To me, one above all the other 100 fucking things that I think make this subscription worth it, I think the number one thing is the ticket construction. And I know it's conservative, but it's also how you keep from getting eliminated. We get a finger in the coolie, but we never take a fist. Put that on a fucking t-shirt. Remember, it's not madness.
This is Sparta!
Although, when you're making anal fisting jokes, maybe there is a little bit of madness. Maybe we're a little fucking crazy. But honestly, what I mean is, got to follow up something that stupid with something really smart. I think that's like the balance of the fucking universe. Again, it's super important, right? To understand daily risk allotment if you're going to do this stuff at any kind of level, right? If you want to sustain. If you're looking to hit the lotto, hit the fucking lotto. Play for the lotto. If you're going to straight bet, you got to do it properly or it just does not work. Right, because people will say that parlays are for losers and straight betting is the only way to do it. But no, that's just not how it works. A responsible parlay player is going to have a better success rate than a poorly managed straight portfolio. So I like to tie units to percentage of stack, and I think that really builds the formula for Road to Ruin. I like to stay between 3.5% to 5%. Which is why if you ever add up all the units, I'm in between 3.5 and 5 units a day. That number should play no matter what. Meaning, if you have one play, you don't have to play 5%. But I love the people with my 5% play, and you have like 3 of them. You can't fucking bet 18% of your fucking roll. You're going to go to zero, right? That's not responsible. That's not how it's done. There is no professional trader or bettor that's going to tell you to do that. You don't do that. Now, what I'm learning, I was trying to move that theory into, then we're going to move on into football, where it does not work. Football, you need to push harder because the market is open much less, right? When you're going to trade stocks, trade derivatives, or fucking bet baseball, it's 6-7 days a week. Man, you need to have a legit plan that builds for that, for a 10-day losing streak. In football, you have to fucking gas sometimes because there is no like, oh man, we had a rough day, but the sample is going to balance us out tomorrow. That's not a thing, right? So hopefully everybody learned something. A little bit of the nuance and context that pours out your nose, trying to help you get a little bit better at this fucking thing of ours. And then, of course, I forgot the fucking thing I mentioned. It's idiot, fucking fat idiots. Oh, God. They deserve it. Very simply, if you have two plays that you like and they were both favorites, I talk about this all the time. If you're going to play those both straight, then you have to pay a tax on both of them. They're favorites by definition. Which also means that if you only hit one of two, that particular venture is a loss. So right off the bat, I think you have an argument to pair them. But needing two events also kind of sucks because that's not necessarily what your handicap is saying either. So what I did last week, and it hit and I loved it, was you take the two games that you like, and instead of, again, we're playing half units straight right now. So that's a unit, right? Two straight plays would have been a unit. Chop that into 3 equal pieces and go 1/3 on the money line pair, 1/3 on run line A, 1/3 on run line B. And it builds you into that spot. So like this would have worked with the Rays yesterday, right? We actually had the fucking C.O. Jones to bet the Rays run line at plus 150. It was an easy hit. That was a no sweat fucking cash. So it allows you that progressive win also. Again, I think we try and be too cute. I like them to win, but only by 1. What the fuck does that mean? You like them to win, but only by 1. It's pussy shit. It should all be price driven. It should all be price driven. And again, that plus 150 was too good to turn down. And I think we want to be applying the same idea here. Again, if it's all price driven, the price of the Mariners is not great. It's plus 115 on a minus 145, which is not like a great bonus. But I still like the balance. I'm going to see. I don't know if I have another pair. Anyway, let's move on. I got to hurry the fuck up, yo. Ryan No Me Gusto on the bump for the mighty Marlins of Miami, plus 120 dog down in St. Louis to face Andre Palante in the Heat. That's that Mr. Sun emoji. Man, I like the Cardinals to win, but it's a little bit pricey because that bullpen's been so bad. They have a 6.47 ERA over their last 40 innings, and there's nothing, to like. As many walks as strikeouts from your bullpen. 92 zone contact, 42 hard hit, nearly 11 barrel. Cardinals bullpen is starting to fall apart. Got to be careful backing them. Now, we listen, you like the Cardinals. They're an upstart, and they're fun. They play good defense and have a couple of cool bats. Yeah, word. Of course we like the fucking Cardinals. They're not a minus 145 team right now. They're not a minus 145 team. If there's anything I have really kind of pulled from our guys at the Source Network is really trying to be more price driven and get my nose out of the spreadsheet a little bit. It will inform decisions, but it shouldn't make them. Marlins bullpen's been pretty good. Ask yourself if you really want to be in a dogfight later on. I would not go there. So I think you got to get this one F5, but again, the pricing isn't there. I'm probably just fading this one. As much as, listen, Palante's having a really nice season. This has been the best version of him, but he still has those same flaws I have mentioned with guys like Jose Soriano. He does have good control when he's filling his zone. He'll get ahead, and we love that. Powering the fucking sinker over and over and over and over and over and over and over. Get it. The ground ball rate we love. The suppressed contact we love. But he doesn't have power stuff and has to play the BABIP game. He's pitching so well because he has a 264 BABIP and a plus 75% left on base rate. Those should easily regress. Miami's hitting a little bit right now. Now, they've put the ball on the ground a little bit too much, and that might play right into Palante's hands. But again, none of us know where those ground balls are going to go. Now, Gusto has really struggled versus lefties, and I think I like the Cardinals to get to him. But again, I worry a little bit about the Marlins bullpen. I do. I worry a little bit about getting to him. Do we need 5 runs? Quick check on the Cardinal team total. It's 4.5 minus 110. I don't love that. I'd be curious to see what the first 5 team total is. What's funny? I was kind of shitting on BetStamp yesterday, but they do have that, and I'd probably be able to get it up quicker than DraftKings. Okay, first. 5, no game prop. Yeah, first half team total, respect right there. It's 2.5. I was hoping for the 1.5. I don't think I'm going to play for those 3 runs. So now maybe I'm looking over. The Cardinals have hit. I think they get the gusto. So I either have to not be a fucking pussy and look for the Cardinals to score, or just leave this one alone, or play the over, excuse me. The 8.5 feels a little bit high, though. I want an 8. So I'm kind of doing my sour bitch face. I think I'm just going to fade this one. Next up, most honorable Yoshinobu Yamamoto on the bump for the Trolley Dodgers. They got their aces kicked yesterday. They're in a pretty good bounce back spot. It's very heavy favorites on the road in San Diego to face Randy the Macho Man Vasquez and the Friar Tucks. Dodgers have looked very human lately, but Yamamoto has not. So he's like the ultimate fucking slump buster. He's been incredible. He does everything. He doesn't walk anybody and get swings and misses and get strikeouts. And he's a ground ball machine. So, like, there's nothing to not like about Yamamoto. We're even getting more distance than I thought we'd get. You know, they're kind of babying this guy a little bit. He's up near 20 outs a game. I don't take enough time to mention this, but the player prop section, that little helps, man. Pitches per game, outs per game, Ks and walks per game. You know what I'm saying? Trying to add a little bit of nuance and context to the fucking game here. Make this, I don't know, maybe more attractive for not just bettors, but like prop players and DFS people. You know what I mean?
Spartan! What is your profession?
Well, if you don't know, you better ask somebody. You know, Vasquez has been brutal, and he can't get out lefties at all. So you got to like Shohei and Freeman and just the Dodgers to score altogether. The Padres bullpen has been excellent all year. So they kind of rain on the parade of team totals. But man, Yamamoto and the Dodger bullpen kind of gives me the confidence to go for the run line. Quick pricing, minus 115. They're giving us 80 cents and 85 cents and the minus 200. So like that's on the border. I like to get 100 cents. We don't always, right? We don't always get it. And I know this is kind of chalky, but I think the Dodgers cover this one. I do. I think the Dodgers cover this one. I love the bounce back spot. I'm really not a fan of Vasquez, and the San Diego offense is just not great. You know, it's not great. If they're going to be relying on, again, that kind of passivity, right, if they're going to be lowering swing rate, but not doing anything with it, right, looking to take walks, Yamamoto's not going to do that. He's up there just throwing strike after strike and strike after strike. It's that dog don't hunt. And again, the Dodgers bullpen has been good, so I want to keep the back door open that we don't get the 5. It's probably an expensive 5 to the Dodgers. Minus 120, over 4.5 team total for LAD. Yeah. I don't love this fucking slate. I mean, I got bets I'm going to have, but I'm just... Everything feels priced like a little too sharp for me. I was also hoping to get a better price, on this one. Bryce the Elder from the Shire and the Bravos on the road in San Francisco under the beautiful bridge to face the San Francisco Treats and Logan Webslinger, minus 136 for my boy at home. I was telling everybody to stay the course with Webb. He is such a good pitcher. He is legit one of the best pitchers in Major Leagues. I know he doesn't get thought of that way. He doesn't have the swing and miss and the 100-mile-an-hour fastball. He's still on the shortest list of guys. Like if you were to look at me and say, hey, big man, like Ian will say at Fantasy Life, if aliens come down, and he'll say, the aliens come down and they need a big tight end performance, who are we sending out there? If aliens came down and said they needed 8 innings, okay, not 10 strikeouts, not 12 strikeouts, and not 6 clean, 8. Can give you 8 good innings? The best chance to get you 8 innings on any given day, I still believe, is Logan Webb. He is that guy, and he's really turned the season around. So has Elder. They're now, ships passing in the sea, going in opposite directions. Elder's disciplinary stuff is fucking whack. Webb's even starting to get the strikeouts going, but he doesn't walk anybody. He doesn't waste a single pitch. There's that efficiency, but he can also get chases. So for an extreme ground baller, right, let's call it 50%, Webb's at 52. Very few of those guys have chase rates up near 35. And that's really effective because he can get himself out of the jam, right? You have to worry about the cutting pitch. He's hard to take out. Just 5 home runs and 83 in a third. Webb got out of the box, really shitty. He's been awesome. You can see the splits are really strong, and he's been goated last 30 days as Elder's been ass. So I think San Francisco takes care of business. The Braves offense is one of the worst in the league right now. Batting 206 last 2 weeks versus righties, a 263 slug, sub 4 walk, plus 14 swing and strike. This is really getting insanely bad, right? This is getting beyond talent towards like mental shit, pressing, and guys are getting frustrated and aggravated, maybe even starting to fucking fight. Like, that's how bad this fucking shit is. So you gotta like San Fran to win. The bullpen it's been a fucking adventure. Now, the numbers are not as bad as I thought they would be anecdotally. Again, the Giants haven't been good this year. And I feel like every time I've needed Caleb Killian to get me big outs, he has failed me. Braves bullpen has been objectively good, but they also just sent Robert Suarez to the IL. So that hurts. Absolutely. Because a lot of times we're looking to score before they can bridge the gap to fucking Rysel. So that's a little bit of a bright spot for the Giants win. I still think the Giants win outright. I mean, I've got a full run clear on this. The Giants could be that team that fits that bill with the cover. Man, that'd be fucking ballsy. I love that. The more I think about it, it feels that whole fucking run line thing feels very sharp to me. Right, where we're incorporating run lines to take advantage of that part of the distribution curve. Because that's what's happening when you take the money line, right? You're basically you're taking your tail and you're tucking it a little bit and just wearing the second condom. And, it may keep you from having a baby, but you're not going to feel anything. That's for sure. So let's get to Web Slinger. Man, that number is plus 155 on the run line. I fucking love that. I mean, I gotta have a piece of that. I'm really, I don't know how to put this. Like, having Claude do the grading, right? Like I taught it how to read our emojis and stuff. I just feed it the way it lists, so it's very good. It allows you to double. I set it so I double check it as it's going through. And man, if there's one thing, and again, this is a big Source Network stuff. Juice is the fucking killer, right? When you're straight betting, especially, you really feel it. That the minus 140 just doesn't pay nearly. That the loss is so much more expensive than the win. That we really want to be counterbalancing that with plus money plays. And again, I'm not reinventing the wheel, and someone maybe even laughed at me like, oh, no shit, Sherlock. I'd say, it's up your fucking ass, Watson. What do you want from me? Next up, Jack Perkins on the bump for the Atleticos. They're on the road in LA to face Reed Detmers with the wind blowing out, and the A's have the bullpen emoji. Alvarado 2-3, Harris 2-3, Sterner 2-3, Medina 2-3. That bullpen was bad in the first place. They're in a lot of trouble today. So I think right off the bat, I probably like the Angels to score. As much as I like Perkins, I just don't think he's got the distance to combine with. I'm sorry, the Angels to score, excuse me. Right. As much as I like Perkins, I don't think he can go deep enough to get any kind of bridge. Angels team total, by the way, is 3.5. Gotta like that. Now, Perkins is a good pitcher, but he struggled as of late. So obviously people are getting to him. Though it does go to show you how sharp the markets have gotten. This guy's got a 6.26 ERA, but all the indicators are good, and the KBB is really good. The chase is good. He's been unlucky. I'll give him that. 58 left on base, 336 BABIP is fucking shitty. But if you're going to give up, home runs here and there, that's where the Angels kind of do it. Oh, you know what? This is a good one. I feel like the Angels are a home team. So let's go to the year-to-date page and over to the home road splits. Angels are really bad at home. Go figure. So the Angels are a split team. And I'm going to we got to shrink this so I could see more of it in one spot. Yeah, I'm going to do a little bit of this later today. Hold on. I'm sorry. My OCD fucking kicks in. And I'll start mopping the fucking floor right now, cleaning my computer screen. So go figure the Angels, excuse me, are atrocious at home. I mean, legit bad at home. The A's are obviously awesome at home with the joke ballpark. And the Angels are fantastic on the road, where the A's are terrible on the road. I wonder if the F5 is U5, I might like that. Like, Perkins to just play up a little bit. We don't love the A's offense. It's U4.5 minus 118. Is that where the model is? I forgot to look. I should have looked at that first. Model is saying be careful a little bit with Perkins and the wind blowing out. Yeah, fly balls from both guys. Detmer's got better put away stuff, I think, at least. I know Perkins is good too. A's versus lefties has been a really great split for the A's, I'm saying. And I feel like I have a case for the F5 under and then the full game over. Model is to the under on this one. I feel like it's not gassed enough for the wind. I mean, it really loves Detmers, and again, it likes Perkins also because the underpinning stuff is so good. I'm like terrified of the A's bullpen, so I'm gonna fade this one. Yeah, it's funny because if the F5 is U5, I'd probably go under. But like if the full game was 08, I'd probably go over that. And that the middling with the bad prices, I don't love it. You know what? Let's do a quick. We have a couple minutes. The quickest. We're gonna do a stat free. Let's jump the fucking express train here. That was like a steam locomotive. I need like a fucking. I was hoping for the shit. The new subway horns are fucking epic. It's made for people to hear through noise canceling fucking headphones and shit. Holy crap! You feel that in your fucking anus. All right, let's jump into the top of the board just really quick. Skyrockets in flight. Afternoon delight. Kiwi Tang on the bump for the Stros. He's a dog on the road against my boy Framber Valdez. Wind blowing in Detroit minus 136. Man, I've not been a fan of Tang, and I am a fan of Valdez. Man, I think this price is a little too cheap for the Tigers. I know I was just talking about not paying juice, but minus 136 for our home team. I think with a big edge, and the bullpen's been good. That Stros bullpen is no joke either with Hader back on the throne. But I think that's my play, would just be Detroit. Is Detroit for the win? Although, you know what? Now that I mention it, the program really likes the under again. Wind blowing in with the good bullpens. Like I said, we got people liking Tang. Do we like Detroit? No, I think I'm going to go back. No, fuck that. Like I said, let's go with the cap. And the cap and the price. See how I did that thing? I did the thing. Who can name the mistake that I made? You in the back of the class waving your hand like a fucking maniac. Ooh. You defaulted to the favorite. Yes, exactly. I defaulted to the favorite, and that's not how you do this. I just did it in real time. It's a mistake. To me, it's an error, and Detroit might win. That's not the case. If I could see the future, I would just be correct all the fucking time. But I'll tell you what, I got 8.5. It's U102. We might get the 9. That shit moved up yesterday. So pump the brake, because we might get the 9, but I'm going under this one. Next up, Garrett Cole and the Yanks. We hit the under yesterday, too. Winds blowing in on the road in Boston to face Jake Bennett and the Red Sox. I think people are still like, the Yankees are this crazy offense, and Boston's not hitting. Maybe they think Bennett is is ass, but you'd assume not, because Cole is only a minus 125. I'm under this one again. I like the pens. I like the spot. I like the wind in to keep, hopefully might spare us a Cole home run, right? That's always the fucking big hang up for Garrett. Also 8.5, if I'm not mistaken. I just want to double check. 8, see? Oh no, this one is U8.5 minus 115. So that one's probably not going anywhere. If it is, it's going to be a while. I would just I think you want the under on the 8.5 while it's. Oh, I see a minus 115, even better. Next up, the Rangers. Okay, I had Kumar Rocker. Then I read that he might not start. Gosh, he's been phenomenal. I know I said no stats, but I'm wondering if that kind of bears out. Is the Rocker last 30 stuff insanely good? No, it's not. No, it's not. Anyway, Kuma Rocker on the bump for the Rangers. They're on the road against Dylan. Stop, cease, and desist. The minus 194 for Toronto feels a little bit heavy. Texas does have the emoji, and I think it's Lats and June is back to back. If they're unavailable, you could see why. But man, Rocker being really good and Cease being really good, I would have loved to go under a 4.5 F5, but that's not the case. So I think I'm just off this one. You know, I don't like the arm talent in the Ranger bullpen outside of those two, and if they're unavailable, they're a completely different pen. And I like Toronto to win this one. Cease has been good. But again, if you're getting this good Rocker, shit. Texas' offense has been good also, returning Langford, returning Seager. We know C struggles with home runs sometimes. I'm off this one. I'm off. Next up, my boy C. Montgomery Burns. Excellent. On the bump for the Redlegs. They're on the road in Steel City to face Jared Jones, also my boy, and the Buccos. Man, love Burns, love Jones. I know Jones has struggled, but I was under the hood today. It's fucking awesome. Make offers for Jared Jones in fantasy right before he just goes absolutely bananas. Man, totals are set at 4 and 8, and this feels like a little bit of an underplay. Though I'm going to be honest, I am just shocked at the price that Burns is only minus 120. I mean, it goes to show you the Pittsburgh offense has been so good. Now, that does get taxed a little bit. F5, Burns moves to minus 135, a little bit less palatable. But you can see, I mean, you would think Burns and Jones minus 118 for the Reds would be like the smash pick, and the Algo was like, friend. Friend. It's under the 8. I don't like the bullpens necessarily. I don't like, man, I don't know if I like either bullpen, to be honest. Gone to my head, I'm with the Algo. U8, you know, this one capped at 4-3. Both of these guys could just spin you a fucking massive gem. But the pricing is really on the nose today. Next up, I think it's Rangel. I'm not sure. I'm sorry, guy. He's on the road for the Phils. They're plus 114 dogs against Christian Great Scott in the Let's Go Mets Go. Yeah, Rangel was good last time out, and I think he might be good for the Phils going forward. I also really like Christian Scott. However, not only is this a debut, he didn't have a rehab start. So, again, sorry to give you the facha brut again. Right, running theme here, people. Being consistent, right, using good data to build a consistent template, which will lead to muscle memory and make us more efficient, right? Always, that's like always the thing. That way, at the very least, if we're wrong, we know, because the process was consistent, we can now try and change one thing at a time to get closer to the fucking mark. I'm not going to pretend to have solved debuts. But if you've been doing this with me long enough, is it not a success way more than it's a failure? The answer is unequivocally yes. And it doesn't mean you're basically banging everybody every single time. But ever since I've been adjusting for debuts, workloads are changed. It's just everything. Routine. These guys are creatures of fucking habit. And when you mess with the routine, it messes with the output for me. So I like Christian Scott a lot. I like it a lot. But how he doesn't even have a rehab start. That was one of the things we've talked about. We're not auto-fading debuts. If we get, 2 or 3 with, let's call it, increased workload, finishing with strong production. Meaning I don't care if the first couple times you get wrecked, debut starts. But this is not a single fucking rehab start. I think Scott's in trouble. And how far is he going to go? And the Mets bullpen has been iffy in the middle. When you hand the ball to the guys at the very end, they're getting the job done. But so I think this price is a little bit off. And I think I like the Phillies at 5. If their bullpen was in check, I probably would have bet them full game. But I think the Phillies have been hitting, and I think the Mets are struggling a little bit. And I think this is just improperly priced. You know, again, with Scott having not pitched, I think that's off. A little bit of money coming in on the Phils. It looks like that F5 is now down to plus 105. But I can fucks with that. And then, last but not least, Michael Waka Flocka on the bump for the Royals with Cheese on the road in Chicago to face David Martin and the White Sox. I know Martin has struggled lately. I still think he's very good. I do. I think he's really good. And like the Royals have hit, maybe that's a bit of my red flag. But I think the White Sox get it done, and they feel like the pair. I don't. Do I like them to? Oh man, the Royals bullpen just completely imploded, and like it almost feels wrong to bet on the White Sox the day after scoring whatever 24 fucking runs. Like, how could you score today? Yet there has to be no jizz. There's no jizz left in the balls. The balls have been drained. And the Casey bullpen is so bad. Like, we've known that. So bad. Their top guy, Alex Lang, gave up 4. They were just trying to put out the fucking fire and get him some work, and he got eviscerated. Like, they're in a massive amount of trouble. So maybe this is the other pairing, right? Where you could see we think the White Sox are going to win because Walker's just man. We have the offensive edge. I think we have the bullpen also. And how this one could run again. Now, I don't think they're going to score 20 runs, but could we win this one? Could you win 5-2 after winning 24-3 or whatever? Yeah, absolutely. But I have my own biases, and that one I struggle with the like how to handle the rebound, the crazy rebound. But like Caminero hit 3 home runs, he hit a home run the next day. Right? Some people are like, oh man, you got to fade the generational game, fade the generation. This is now it works. All right, that'll do it. Let's get the fuck out of here. I'm tired. I'm fucking tired. When you're old, like me, breaking night on right the Thursday. I do the Thursday midnight show, and then I'm up to work on Friday, and then I'm doing shit. It's like I get to sleep. Saturday, I'm fucking shop. So tired. So tired. So funny. And it's like beyond coffee. As you could be chugging. I have like high octane fucking cold brew right now in my thermos, and it doesn't matter. There's nothing left. I got to stick the fucking diesel handle up my anus. All right, let's get out of here, man. Too many butt jokes means it's time to go. Appreciate you all for picking up what I'm putting down, man. I love these. There's football stuff, hot and heavy. Saturday means a full rankings update, uploadable, DraftKings, and underdog stuff. Check out the football data. There's free samples, pin post on Substack. The link is in the description below. Again, it doesn't cost you anything to go shop around. And similar to what I was mentioning before with Toast, if you give me stuff to add, I will add it. Now, football, I'm not retrofitting the old sheets. I will add them all going forward. So I already have a bunch of new stuff to add. Again, like net and gross passing yards, I think something is people miss out on, right? Because there's passing yards and then pass yards with sack stuff. Anyway, the football work is on the same channel, Corked Stats. Check the videos tab. The baseball is on the live, the football is on the videos. I got some live streams and stuff. I've been drafting on all different sites, so familiar with half point, full point, roto, playoff style best ball. I'm really getting ready. I'm grinding around the clock for real. I've been drafting in the morning and at night all the fucking time. So, yeah, I appreciate you, man. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. If I have time, I'm going to shoot the emergency waiver pod. It's been really helpful. I have a high-stakes league. I'm competing. I'm in third. I'm in the money. I want to fucking, score the rock. And it takes that kind of work. We do a playing time report, waivers, ads, and stashes, 2 starts, and all that goodness. So that'll do it, everybody. Enjoy the games, enjoy the day. When we're done with the book, enjoy the pay. And remember, when you work this hard, the winning feels a lot less like luck. Shout out to all the people in the fucking chat. I forgot Javit and No Block and the Nose and Tyler. Appreciate you, B-Rose and Sammy and Danny and Trent and Adonis. Good to see you. And Trent and Frankie. Oh, man, I'm the winner. All these fucking people. You guys are the best. Fireworks. All the fucking usual suspects to my Spartans, yo. Much respect. Enjoy the weekend, y'all. I'll catch you soon.